Welcome to Crashing Game Night. My name is Matt Diorio, your host as always. Tonight we got some guests. We got one welcoming into the family for the first time, and but first I want to give this to the man that has been gone for way too long from this podcast, who is unofficially our fifth member, as we've joked around for years. The one, the only, makes me proud to say this: Soldier First Class.
Booyah!
Hello, everyone. It's good to be back.
And then the other beanied one there is our guest for the first time. You know, I've wanted Ray on here for a while. We've been friends on Twitter for ages now at this point. Yeah. But Ray Coffman.
Yo, what's happening, everybody?
And our official beanie one, thinking he's Ellie down there, Gerard Barrera.
What is up, all my nerds? Yes, that's right. Soldier First Class. What is up? Yeah. What's up, dude? It's been a minute. It's been a long minute.
It's been a while.
We've been needing to hear that sexy voice for a while, baby. So it's so nice to have you back. And Ray, welcome, dude. Can't wait to get to know you, and welcome, man.
And finally, now.
Yeah. And now I'm being forced to change up my intro.
Why?
We have the man with the couch, the architect in the Matrix.
Oh my god!
The Lions cub, Jason Belidio.
Yeah, you are a cub now.
How's it going, guys? How's it going? It's still the same me, just 5 pounds lighter.
Is it just the beard?
Yeah, it's just the beard, man.
Dude, he is clean shaven. What is the occasion?
I know it's
been quite a while.
It's kind of scaring me, actually.
Yeah.
I know.
You can actually see my face, my jawline, my 2 o'clock shadow. You know,
you got a nice chin, dude. I don't have a chin.
Thank you. Dude, people say that, I'm like, I don't. You know, maybe I'm not as big of a chin guy. You know, but you know,
it's very strong.
Yeah.
Thank you. But yeah,
still looking
back.
Good.
Welcome back, Soldier. It's good having you back. I kind of miss you, bro. You know, like
kind of
miss you, bro. You know, like
what the hell's this kinda?
Nah. I feel like me and Matt now. I need my boy Theo with me. You know, he's not here. He's not gonna make it with us tonight. But you know, like we need to even out the beanie and non-beanie group.
Hey, technically this is a hat.
Normally it's I was about to say normally it's a hat. So I'm like,
usually I'm rocking the cabbie hat.
Oh, cool.
So
cool.
I just went something different tonight.
Yeah. I guess it's Jerry's just infecting everybody slowly.
I
might incorporate. I might start incorporate something new come summer.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's good having you get back. And then Ray, welcome to the couch, the couch in the Matrix that you just said earlier.
The architect's room.
You gotta change it up a little bit, you know. Maybe I need to put a lamp or put a carpet or something.
No, I think
this is make sure it really ties the room together.
Is this a new couch since Soldier's been on?
Maybe.
It might be. It's been
a while. I do need to get a new couch soon, but I mean, just
I don't know. Is it new? I feel like I've seen it.
Cause wait, hold on, let me see. Because I had this one before, you know, like the old couch. And I remember, I know you.
He is the architect. He's switching his.
Switching.
He's got
a couple. He's got a couple.
Hey, these are all the old couches we used to have, man. And then I
just want to say it has been since episode 228 since Soldier's been on,
dude. Yeah.
And he was at that time. It was the guest formerly known as Soldier.
It's true.
We are now recording 268 tonight.
Nice.
40 weeks. 40. Soldier. Come on.
I should have waited like an extra 12. I could have been like the year special.
Yeah. And of all things, I'm responsible for your podcast naming.
It's true. It is true. I will give him that.
Oh, nice.
So, story behind this, we've talked about this before, but Soldier and I were trying to talk about names for his podcast, and I suggested Gimme Effect, and more along the lines of there's the thing called the Tetris effect, which is actually a real psychological phenomenon where all you do is you think about Tetris pieces. So
You want to know what's funny about that, actually, ironically enough? When we brainstormed and came up with that name, I told it to my podcast host, my co-host, and I was like, hey, my buddy Matt came up with this idea for the gaming effect, and I told him what it was and what it, had translated from. And he's like, my wife does that. And I'm like, no way, dude. This is like
No
perfect.
way.
He's like, yeah, dude, she'll bring home groceries and literally she will pack the refrigerator like she's playing Tetris. And I'm like, dude, this was meant to be. Like, this
That's
was
so
meant to
funny.
be. So it ended up working out really well. We've done several episodes now, and I think people like the name, and it works, and it's just kind of cool.
So
I remember
let's
when you started doing that, and you said like, because you were like, "Hey, dude, I think I'm doing a podcast," and Matt came up with this name for it. And I was like, "Oh, hell yeah, that's really good."
Yeah.
leave it to me to come up with gimmicks.
I was like, "I got no ideas," and he said that. I was like, "Oh, that's really good. Yeah, go with that."
Yeah, I literally was like, Ray, what do I do? I have no idea.
Go
Like,
with that. I was going with that.
I was like, I have no idea what I'm going to name it. And then Matt was like, the gaming effect. And I was like, that's pretty good. I'm like, okay. And then I messaged Ray. I was like, what about the gaming effect? He's like, I like that. And I was like,
And then
Let's
once
go.
I explained it to Soldier, he was like, "Oh yeah, that's just, So let's let the CGN fam kind of get to know you a little bit. You are a author, a
Mhm.
director, a producer, a writer,
Mhm.
and you have a nice little project you got going called Aurora.
Yeah. It's
Nice.
I was for years, forever, I was, obviously cut my teeth on like being a big fantasy nerd, just Final Fantasy, old school 90s anime, Vampire Hunter D,
My
Fushigi,
first ever introduction to anime, Vampire Hunter D,
Well, like, I don't know if you can
Nice.
see
followed right
on
behind
my
by Akira.
wall back here, right there, the
Oh, sweet.
center of my wall. It was
That is
the
D.
one of the first illustrations Yoshitaka Amano did was that old VHD cover, and it's been in the center of whatever my art room is, whatever house or apartment or studio I'm in. It's always the first thing that goes up on my wall.
Mm.
So I always was inspired by like Final Fantasy, Lord of the Rings, a huge influence, so many other tales, and years ago I just started writing my own thing. And I wanted to do it as like prose, and all my friends were like, "Oh, you should do it as like a comic book." And I was like, "Nah, I'm not gonna do that." And then I started doing that, and then people were like, "You should animate it." I was like, I'm not gonna do that." And during COVID, I did that, and then so here we are. It's and Soldier. He's one of my best friends. We've never even seen face to face, but I'll text him like in the middle of the night, be like, "Yo, dude, what if I did this? What about this? What about this thing? What about this thing?" And he'll be like, "Yeah, dude, yeah, that's awesome." And I'm always bouncing ideas off of him and other people, but Aurora is it's kind of a love letter to like old school storytelling. I'm a big fan of 90s anime, old school Lord of the Rings, things like that. And it's a tale that centers around two main characters, the last Aurora named Anea, and Renzia, an aloof vagabond who's just hired to get her to safety. And when the two of them start to travel together, all the evil things that are responsible for the things that have happened over the years begin to awaken and become active again. So, and it deals with a lot of like depression issues, and like a lot of the characters have issues of like, I'm not good enough, I'm supposed to be this, but I'm really here. Why am I not where I'm supposed to be? When I'm in and dealing with those struggles and those mental issues and those spiritual issues, and rising above those things or not. I don't want to give too much away, but and we're in the process of developing the animated series right now, which has been awesome. And we did a panel at the Comic-Con in Lexington, Kentucky, a few weeks back, and one of the people in the crowd during the Q&A section was like, what kind of toll has this taken on you? I was like, this was all brown when I started. So, but yeah, it's wild. It's an amazing ride. I'm so fortunate. Things like doors are opening all the time, and it's just basically putting yourself out there and saying, "Damn it, I'm going to do this thing. That's what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to go get it." And having that attitude, people respond to that. And we've gotten so much talent on board. We've got Steve Bloom, Johnny Young Bosch, who plays Ichigo in Bleach. We got Michelle Ruff, who's our voice director. She's a talent in it. She's Rukia in Bleach. We got so many people on board. So many people that just
So,
came
Wow.
forward.
Ray,
Yeah.
Sweet.
for those people that don't know, who did Johnny Young Bosch play?
He played Ichigo in Bleach. He played Vash the Stampede. Man, who hasn't he played?
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's
Right.
played
Adam,
tons.
Adam from Power Rangers.
Yeah, he's
Thank
Adam from
you.
Power Rangers.
Oh
The
wow.
Black Ranger.
It was wild.
Oh.
A couple of years ago, he was in
Mhm.
Lexington for Comic-Con, and he was like, "Hey, meet me and my buddy over at this bar. We'll have some food." And we were sitting there just talking and shooting the bull and eating, and it was surreal. And it was Steve Bloom was really the one that started all this, because I approached him at a show in 2019. I told my assistant in my booth, I was like, "Hey, yo, if he says he'll play this character, we're going to make the show." And then of course a few months later COVID happened, and then all this stuff started happening, and then Steve goes, "Yo, man, this story is really good." And I'm not telling you that, just telling you because you've already paid me, but it's really really good. And he was like, "Who do you want on it?" And I was like, "What?" And that night I heard from everybody who played, because the magical thing about it for me was, I had a studio apartment years ago in the middle of nowhere in Lexington, Kentucky, in a bad part of town, and I just sat on my one piece of furniture, drawing these characters and writing these stories with G4 on at like 3 in the morning, playing anime, like
Mhm.
Sea of Stars.
G4 baby.
Yeah. So Banner of the Stars and all this old obscure stuff, Cromartie High School and everything, and I'm listening to these actors play these characters that are influencing what I'm writing. And years later, I was able to cast them as the characters I had in my head as I was writing them back
I
on my
mean,
futon in the middle of nowhere. And now we're here. So
That's
it's never
awesome.
lost on me each day how lucky I am and how special the project is that we're working on.
And I have to say, like, as someone who has been in pretty much constant contact with Ray over the course of the last few years, and having read his comic or graphic novel or manga, whatever you want to call it, you can tell that it wears its inspirations on its sleeve, but it's unique in the way that you see the influences, but you don't feel like they are just directly there. Like it's Ray's special touch on his own story, and the dark themes and just the way the characters interact with each other. It's a really well written piece of media, and I think a lot of people are going to be surprised because independent creators, I feel like, don't get their due. And when people see what Ray's got in store for them, I think he's going to get his due. And I think absolutely 100% love what he's doing. And I really believe in this project as well.
Man, you reach out, touch by the heart. It's wild because like I am an independent creator, and one of the goals of doing this on the scale that I'm doing it and starting Windlands Productions, my production company, which has taken me away from doing the YouTube content that I usually do or whatever, is to have a place where people like me that want to tell their story can have a place to tell it, you know? And if it's not to production quality yet, we don't just send you away. We say, "Hey, let's work, let's get it there." You got a great idea, you want to tell your story, let's get it there. Don't just send them out and, "Hey, go figure it out and come back in 5 years." No, I want a place where we can foster people, not only foster their ideas and their imagination, but their confidence as well. Because as a creator, and everybody here
awesome.
knows, because you're all
Yeah.
creators, uh, it takes one hard gut shot to your confidence, and it can take years to recover from that, no matter how good you are. Like every day I deal with, "Oh, this isn't very good." but I've got so and so on the line wanting to talk about this thing, and I'm like, no, it's not good. It's like, you idiot, it is. It's so I
Yeah.
think it all the time. So it's wild, it's fun, and it's just a wild journey, and I'm excited. I'm excited for people to see it.
And the fact that like you look at the project, right, and it's not to the massive scale yet, but Steve Bloom, holy, just like they'd be like getting Nolan North, like, or Tara Strong, or Great Alat, like Jennifer Hale, any one of those, because he is voice acting royalty. He's like
He's-
up there on Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, he's been.
Yeah.
I think at
everywhere.
this point, Johnny Young Bosch could be up there too. As much
Oh,
as
yeah.
as much as he has contributed to voice acting over the years and continues to do so, like, I mean, he's some of the most famous characters in the world, and he's a part of Aurora, and I think that alone, just those two alone, not even the other ones that you've gotten, proves that these people who have worked in this industry for so long and have done everything there is to do in this industry believe enough in this project to sign on.
Dude, I did not realize he was the voice actor for the English dubbing of Akira.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was.
That's
Wow.
like
Wow.
way back before Power Rangers and all of that.
He was also
Native.
Lelouch. I mean, he's been so many characters. He was in the Persona games, I think.
He played the new Broly.
He's the new Broly, yeah. So, but yeah, like it's so some days I kind of have to pinch myself. It's surreal because like I've been able to cast each actor who influenced the character that I wrote. You know what I mean? That's like if like a film director was to go back and be able to cast the actors that inspired the characters they wrote into their stuff. It's very humbling, and it's never lost on me each day like how fortunate I am. A, that all these people are so super cool to work with, and B, that they just believe in the story that much. Steve told me one day, he was like, dude, I think this is the next big thing. And I was like, oh my God. I almost teared up. I was like, I gotta go, Steve. I gotta have cry real quick.
So real quick to answer the question in chat, just looking at IMDb, from a Broly perspective, right? Dragon Ball Superhero in 2022. He was the voice of Broly. He is the voice of Broly in the newer video game that's coming out, Sparking Zero. So yeah, he's pretty much taken over. So real quick before we kind of get into the one thing that kind of brought our collectiveness together over the years on Twitter, right? And I think that's funny, right? Ray, you talk about how you've never met Soldier like in person, right? Same thing. I've not met, like, all of us have known each other on Twitter for ages. Back when it was actually the non-toxic
Twitter.
hellscape
Yeah.
that
When it was Twitter, not
Twitter.
is now.
Yeah, even before.
Hold on, before the universe turned on Soldier, and
That's a fair assessment. Yes.
Yeah.
we were all connecting. We were all just this one group, and whatnot. But the one thing I do want to kind of really touch base on when we're talking anime and stuff like that, and Steve Bloom, is Wolverine and some of the X-Men cartoons and stuff like that. But we'd be remiss real quick if we didn't mention the fact that X-Men's back.
Ooh.
I know, man.
And
Yes.
here's the other thing. It's a Marvel show that Jason watched.
I actually watched it. I'm up to date, baby.
Hell has
What
frozen
is
over.
this? New face,
Hot
new
take.
action.
What?
What is going on? No, this is just nostalgia, man. This is just nostalgia,
And it is pure.
Oh, it's great.
That
I'm already on board. I was already on board.
So Ray, you said you're watching it tonight.
I'm going to watch it tonight.
Yeah.
And I will say this for anyone that grew up with X-Men on Saturday mornings, the second the intro hits,
Oh,
It is
man.
back.
I was just about to say, like I get ready the moment the intro like starts. Just get like I can't wait to hear your take on it because the moment it hit, I got so hyped. I got so excited, like just like a kid. I was so excited when
can't see-
the episode
Y'all
started.
talk about. I've got goosebumps on my arm thinking about it right now, man.
Yeah,
Like,
it
I'm
is.
here.
And
Like,
like the way it's gotten redone, it was like everything I feel hit its mark. Like I was really happy with like the
And-
direction the show's going and like the intro. I was very happy with it.
And they're paying the comic very much homage
okay.
Yeah.
with where they're going with it. And
for
you'll
the-
see at the end
for the
of
first
episode
part,
2.
yeah.
Yeah, you'll see at the end of episode 2 what I'm referencing when I say they're following comic
Yeah.
on some of this. But I will say this, one of my favorite parts, and this isn't a spoiler because it was in the trailer and everything, is just seeing the full scene where Gambit hops on Wolverine's back and energizes those claws.
Oh,
like,
it was great.
That whole
Oh.
scene was
Oh
fantastic.
man.
So, and I'm happy that, you know, they've got most of the original people back. That Eric and Julia Lewald, who wrote on the original series, are back in a, you know, consultant capacity for the show. Yeah.
It's
I'm so
good
glad
that
X-Men's back.
It's good that like the original people are coming back too, because like sometimes when that happens, like the quality tends to suffer because they have to get back in the mindset they were in back then and create that show the way it reminds the fans what it was like, but also does its own thing. And so it's always nice when the original creators can come back and actually recapture that lightning in a bottle.
Is
And
Cal?
I
it's-
really
Cal
feel
Dodd
like they
back
did.
Wolverine? Is Cal Dodd still playing Wolverine?
Yes,
Yeah.
he is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Lenore is still
and-
playing Rogue, and the only voice that's different is Jean Grey.
And Scott.
And
Is
Jubilee.
Scott different?
Because Ray Chase is playing.
Oh, yeah,
Scott.
Jubilee.
Scott Summers, right?
Yeah. Scott. Scott's different. Jean Grey. And
Jubilee or
Yeah.
Jubilee.
Morph and Gambit.
My
No,
favorite. has
no,
been
Gambit's
Force
back.
No, but it's a different voice actor. I think the original voice actor for Gambit's
True.
different.
He is a returning voice, but yeah, that's
yeah,
true.
he's a different.
That is true.
Just like Jean, she's.
Oh, that's right.
She's
Yes,
a different character.
but the one who's playing Jean Grey is also part of royalty, and that's Jennifer
Yeah,
Hale.
Jennifer Hale. My
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah.
I
But
think
super excited that the original Beast actor did come back too, because he hits those marks.
Yeah.
have they
So
introduced Apocalypse yet? Has Apocalypse been in it at all?
No.
Not yet.
no.
Not yet.
Because he was my favorite voice from the original show. Just
That
like
that whole arc was cool.
how crazy they wrote his lines. Like his dialogue literally just ran over other people's dialogue in the show. Like show up as like it was almost like the actor speaking in like right on the microphone. And he had a deep baritone voice, and it was like it just shut everybody else out. And I was like, wow. And the way they wrote those Fox 90s shows too, the dialogue, it was like
Oh,
reading
yeah.
the comic. It just rolled. The dialogue
yeah.
just
Oh,
rolled
yeah.
and rolled, you know?
Like for some of the best scenes were all like Magneto's scenes were always so eloquently said. Like he always had some sort of like anecdote, but and for his direction of the Brotherhood, which that show is so well done even back then.
I mean, it's like when me and my wife were watching it, we just love that the crispness of the show of 97. It keeps the old sketchiness, but it's a lot cleaner lines. It's not as pixelated, I guess you could say. It's not as it's just very sharp. Like all the lines are sharp. All the color.
I think that was the
is
one thing
blended
that
very
threw me
well.
off, right? Is that back in the 90s, it was rough, right? Because it was all hand drawn back then.
Yeah.
Now it's all computer, you know, you're animating through computer and stuff. So it's
and now it's
clean.
filtered. Like that's
clean.
that's like a couple filters on the show.
Yeah,
but, like,
but I mean, it
it
makes
gives it a
look,
great look.
Yeah, it makes it look
I love it.
very
They popped the
vintage.
filters in there to keep the gritty feel.
Yeah.
These
Yeah.
animations.
like
everything's
nothing
drawn on a
changed.
Cintiq now. When you're animating, it's all drawn on a Cintiq into whatever program you're using. So it loses that hand-drawn texture. Like I always say, I think anime is way too clean now. Like I miss the grittiness of that 90s.
Mhm.
I wish they would use more filters in anime
is
to
true.
gritty it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Old school
It reminds me
cel
of like how Berserk kind of lost its feeling when it went to like the more CGI animation,
shading.
because
Mhm.
there, like, to me, when it comes to anime, there's a Mount Rushmore, and old school 1997 Berserk is on that.
Mhm.
It's on that Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
And that gritty, like, it almost looks like a old painting almost with an anime touch to it, and I really like that grittiness to it. The only one I didn't that I enjoyed that they cleaned up that was like that was Hunter x Hunter. I liked the grittiness of the old version, but the way they did the 2011 version was really well done too.
There was a shot in Berserk '97 and Soldier. I think you'll appreciate. There were two. It really brought the grit, and it's like one of the things I've tried to capture in some of the things I'm working on right now. Is one of the ones I think of is when Griffith and Guts had to confront Zod in the catacombs.
I literally that moment was in my head as you said it. I was like, yeah, is he gonna pick this one?
Yes. And then there was in the first episode when the Snake Baron like transforms and he's like fragile, so fragile. And his feet are stomping, it's crushing everything. And then it shows him in the fire and it's got this gritty tone to it.
Yeah.
It's like you just can't do that. And for some reason,
Mhm.
people don't do that anymore. I'm like, no, this is what made anime hot. This is what made
Right.
it hot, man.
It's like in, to your point too, like the pan shots, you know what I mean? Like where the camera will pan
Watercolor
across.
painting.
Right, yes. And it will
Yes,
pan
yes.
across the thing. And that old school look is just it's you don't get that anymore. And I feel like if an anime were to come out now and do that, I feel like it would really I think people would latch on to that and get that nostalgic feel.
Like it would stand
Ray's
out.
like, well,
Look at that.
I know something. He's like, I don't know.
This is when I needed my beard back. Everybody's got a beard to do that little like.
You just rub your cheeks,
God.
man. Just
God.
start thinking.
or you got to start doing like an eyebrow thing, like
Oh, the anime eye. Let me raise
Yeah.
my
I mean-
glasses.
I mean, Matt's barely counts, so I mean,
Oh, fine. I'll join Jay. I'll join Jay.
Yeah,
Let's go.
there you go. Like,
Oh, there
You
we
know.
go.
To Soldier.
Gnarly.
Anyways, so let's, without spoilers, I'm gonna throw Soldier this one to start us with.
well, this is a good start.
Because so as we notoriously know at this point, Soldier's take on the ending of Remake brought out the toxicity that is in honestly any fandom, right? Any fandom you're in, you do have that toxic part. But without spoilers, now that you've played and finished Rebirth,
Damn.
does your take on the ending of Remake change now?
Ray is ready to jump in too.
Yeah, I'm starting shit. I'm stirring the pot.
No. Honestly.
Oh,
Honestly, no.
oh, it kind of sounds like
What?
it got intensified.
So I want to say this because I feel like this needs to be said. I feel like people need to understand. I did not hate Remake. I hated the ending. I gave the game a 9 out of 10. But the ending really drug it down for me. And then, putting it under a microscope, there were things that I noticed that dropped my score of it. Rebirth is kind of the same way.
Oh no.
I loved a lot of the moments. I loved a lot of the expansion. The game was a 9 out of 10 for me. But again, the ending dropped it. Some creative decisions dropped it in certain scenes that I won't really go into. And overall, I think it's a really well-made game. I'm actually really proud of this development team for how they were able to have such a major turnaround in game design and yet still make it feel like it was cohesive with Remake in a gameplay perspective. Obviously, you're in the open world and the exploration and stuff, and that is a huge turnaround from what we got with Remake, and I'm actually really proud of them for that. And this is a really big upgrade from a company that said, 10 years ago, HD towns are too hard to make, and you're now in several HD towns that are really well done in this game. So while I have my reservations about the way the story is going, and obviously I don't want to say anything about the ending too much because, obviously not everybody here has finished it. I feel like it's another Remake situation for me where I may not have enjoyed the narrative decision at the end, but I enjoyed the journey to get there. And that's why it is so hard for me to discuss things in any kind of negative light, because I loved a lot of what was presented, but obviously there were things that I did not agree with. There were things that I felt could have been done better. And I'll admit there are things in this game that were done better than the original, but that comes with the caveat that obviously I finished it and I know what happens, and I'll leave it at that.
And I appreciate that because I just started chapter 10.
Interesting.
Jerry's dicking around in Corel.
No, next area. I'm in the parade, getting
June.
Oh, you're up in Juno. Okay.
Yeah.
You're up in. And then Ray, you're still messed around early game, right?
I'm in Corel. I'm literally in the middle of Corel. I actually texted Soldier earlier today. I was like, I wasn't even looking forward to Corel. And it's like just told like the way they realized the whole area and the town and the conflict going on with Barrett and the people in town is just like wow, okay. That wasn't even on my radar. And I'm like, wow, I'm totally bought into this right now. So
I think to your point, Soldier, right? You look at town design specifically. You look at the amount of detail that went into Calm. You look at Corel and, like say, Gold Saucer, and whatnot, and you can see why it took a few years to kind of make the game. Hopefully, it's not PS6 or 7 by the time we get the third. I
think they said the window is probably about 4 years, I think is what they said, but that's because they have a lot of the assets already done.
Yeah.
So,
I will say this, the next one's going to be sad because we're not going to be hearing Uematsu scoring it, because he did announce that he's probably scored his last full game sound, score, because it's just the work it is. But
honestly,
I think
deservedly so, man. He needs he needs to enjoy his life.
And there's the two guys that he's going to be handing it off to have been part of Final Fantasy for close to 2 decades at this point.
Almost.
Because
I think
some of them did. One of the guys did the score for Final Fantasy 13. Which
that's right.
Hamauzu, right?
Yes.
He also did 10.
Okay, so yeah, that goes way back. So it's more than that. We're almost 25 years at this point.
Well, Uematsu did 10, but there were guest tracks with Hamauzu. It's almost like he was kind of bringing him along to train him, I guess, so to speak.
I will say this: I'm still very, very happy that the DNA of 13 is still alive and well in 7. And I mean, when you think about it, Soldier, right, is the whole stagger system.
Oh yeah.
That's 13 right there. And you can build your characters just like you built Lightning, Fang, Vanilla, Snow, and you can build Monster Wrecking Crew. Like Tifa right now, I'm in the process of building her out like Lightning from 13, and she is a monster stagger machine for me. And I'm loving it. And I know 13 gets a lot of hate. Some of it, okay, deservedly so. Some of us absolutely love 13. It's one of our favorite Final Fantasies. Me. And it's just, but I think what it looks like with Final Fantasy, right, is that it's the predecessor games that have walked. So these future games namely 7 Rebirth, Remake, and 16 could run. 16, I still have issues with 16, like with some of it and whatnot. And I think anyone could find things about Final Fantasy that they don't necessarily enjoy as much. in some
Especially
cases.
Final Fantasy fans.
Just yeah.
Yeah.
No,
But
there a new game that was announced? Was there a new Final Fantasy just announced?
No,
No.
Dawn Trail is coming
Dawn
out
Trail
soon.
is the DLC for 14,
Yeah.
That's
Which-
probably what I saw.
which Jason needs to get back on that.
I do, but I didn't even get Endwalker, so I mean, like I'm behind.
What?
Yeah, say it. Yeah, say it, Soldier.
No, well,
Come on.
no. See, let me. You gotta backtrack it up. Like, let's rewind the tape. Like, I had some personal issues happen, and so I couldn't jump back on Final
Okay.
Fantasy 14. And when you lose your raid team, it's hard to get back into
True.
it. Like you gotta find a new raid team. You gotta find a new like group of people that you mesh with. Like, and then at the same time, are you going to be casual? Are you going to be mid-core? Are you going to be hardcore?
Right.
Like,
And I was like there for a while. I was raiding Savage and stuff, so I totally get that.
Yeah.
I'm not like too into it anymore. I am excited for Dawn Trail because I'm obviously excited to see what the game is going to be like after the 10-year arc that they were on is now over.
Yep.
Obviously that worries me a little bit because the last arc was so good, but I have faith in CBU3. I think they're really good at what they do.
Oh yeah,
14 is their baby, and I think they're
Yeah.
going to treat it with the respect it deserves.
yeah, and they're not
And-
going to just roll
right.
it out just to roll something out. Like,
Right.
they take their time.
Did
they
you
give
did you
the
see
time in
the
between.
news that they wanted it to come out sooner, but they postponed it because of Elden
Yes.
Ring DLC?
Yes,
Because they don't want to play it.
because of Shadow of the Erd Tree, Yoshi P was
Yeah.
like, I've delayed it a week because I want to play the DLC.
Yeah.
And I respect that so much because I have
Right?
six playthroughs and 400 hours in Elden Ring. And
Yeah.
I love that game.
So, Ray, so far with what you've experienced thus far in the game, how are you feeling about Rebirth compared to Remake?
Well, first off, I want to say this. A lot of people come to my channel for theory videos and things like that, and some people know this that watch my streams. I've talked about it openly, and we talked about kind of the persecution Soldier got about Remake and everything. I wouldn't be doing YouTube videos if it wasn't for Soldier First Class. Like, I watched his stuff during Remake, and I was like, I want to do this too. And I've told him this before. I wouldn't have a YouTube channel if it wasn't for his content. And so when the slings and arrows were coming out, I told him, I was like, F these guys, I got your back. If anybody comes in my chat, we're going to smack them back. Don't worry about it. But yeah, I just want to put
Nice,
that
man.
real quick. There's, I wouldn't be doing this stuff if it wasn't for Soldier First Class. So, Alex, I love you, baby. So always
Love you too, buddy.
keep doing things your way, man. Don't ever brush off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the real ones respect that. So I want to say that first. Secondly, Rebirth, I'm blown away by the scale and just how they've fully realized like a real world. Like, it doesn't feel like when I was playing Tales of Arise, I said, if this is Rebirth, we're fine. Like, we're good. They took that concept of like what was done in no, not Tales of Arise. I'm sorry, Star Ocean, the Divine Force. I was like, if they do this, we're fine. They did that times like 3, because for me, when you're running around in the world in Rebirth, it doesn't feel like you're like, okay, this town, then I got to get to this point on the map, and then I got to go through this cave and go to this part, and then that's the open world. No, it's like a huge open world. Like, they built a real world. Like, Gaia is like real now. And I'm so impressed because I didn't think I would ever see something like that from Square Enix. And when I played the Divine Force, I was like, oh, okay, they kind of get it. They kind of get where this needs to go. But in remake, one of my big complaints with remake was you go to the end of like a trail and there was no reward for it. There was nothing there. There was no treasure chest. There was nothing to fight. There's just a big empty spot. You know what I mean?
It was very linear. It was way more linear. Yeah.
It was, and you'd go like an out of the way spot. And I'm a grinder. I live for the grind, baby. That's why I fell in love with JRPG.
Gotta find those secrets. Yeah.
Start with Lunar, man, back in the '90s. I was like, I'm a grinder, boy. Let me dungeon dive, you know. So when you get to an end of a trail or something like that, and there was just nothing there. In Rebirth, there's some of that, but it's kind of balanced with, but yo, this is like a big world. It's not just a couple of trails going to the next sector. It's a big open world, and there are places to fight things. So I am just in awe of the parts that they have actually kind of re-envisioned for Final Fantasy VII, because it does feel like a remake, but not in a traditional way it's being remade. It feels like a reimagining of Final Fantasy VII. And early on, when I was doing all the theory crafting videos, I had a couple of theories I threw out there. I called it, best guesser award. It was like, we're all just, who's the best guesser? We'll let the fans decide. It's like, the race to the bottom. You know what I mean? We're all just trying to kill time and entertain. You know what I mean? But about a year ago, I was like, I really just feel like they're just reimagining Final Fantasy VII. Like time loops, time portals, timeline, whatever. I feel like it's just a reimagining. Now, I will say, and I said this today, I got to Corel and there was a cutscene with Zach, and I said on my stream, I was like, I don't care about this. Like, let me spend time with Barrett and Aerith and Tifa and Red 13 and Cloud. Let me run with my crew. Give me more Rufus and the Rogues Gallery at Shinra, because that shit is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like Shinra, they really looked at Metal Gear. And every time a new Metal Gear game comes out, what do they kill it with? The Rogues Gallery, introduced in every Metal Gear game. It's like, it's always awesome. The Shinra lineup from the end of Remake, when they're all lined up in front of Rufus before he takes the chair, it felt like I was getting introduced to like a Metal Gear Rogues Gallery. You know what I mean? And they feel like that now. Like every time they cut in, and all the Rufus and Shinra stuff is fire, dude. It is good.
I especially love like Rufus. Rufus has done really well.
What they've done with that, and what they've done with the characterizations of some of the characters, like Barrett. Oh my God! Like for me in 2020. Nobody had a better vocal performance than John Eric Bentley. He wasn't even nominated. It was a bunch of angry people from like The Last of Us Part 2. I'm like, you're showing one or two human emotions. He showed every human emotion in this game.
Hey, Ray, just wait. That performance gets on steroids.
Yeah. I am ready. Like dying is the part I've been looking forward to. I'm almost
Soldier knows the part I'm talking about. Ray's coming up too.
There is even a part even later with John that is chef's kiss. I mean, that's awesome. So as a background to me, there's not a lot that gets me in a state where I am like borderline a tear rolling down my cheek. And there is a part later in the game with John that I was just sitting there holding it back because it was so powerful, and John did such a good job, and I can't wait for you guys to see that scene because it is powerful.
I can't wait.
Really powerful. It's like late game, but it's really, really powerful.
I was gonna add. Oh no, go ahead, Matt.
Oh, I was gonna say, because Bully M Pix Hero in chat was saying JEB is far and beyond the best actor in this game, and for me, let's preface this. We know quite a few of this cast. Soldier has been on for our Rogues Gallery of the crew, right? And honestly, even Austin's performance as Roche.
Oh, really good.
Especially later on in the later chapters. especially what
Really
I've
good.
been, what I got to. Right?
I'm just getting
Um,
to his first like scenes now, and like he's
and
first
it's
starting to show up. It's so exciting.
and even
Austin
Mallory,
Austin did a
He
fantastic
did.
Yeah.
job.
He really
Like,
did.
when I first played Remake, I was not necessarily sold on Roche. Like, obviously I had met Austin and I like Austin, and the character himself, the voice was great. The character himself I wasn't necessarily sold on.
Mm.
And then I replayed Remake again, and I saw his scene again, and I'm like, okay, I can kind of get on board with this. I kind of like the unhingedness. I like the energy he brings to it, and Austin's voice really plays that well. And then Rebirth comes out, and I'm like,
Mhm.
holy shit, Austin could play Kefka,
and
and I would not, I
Good.
wouldn't not find it believable. You know what I
and
mean?
there
Like,
is
I think he
there,
could pull off Kefka
He could.
and
He could.
do it well.
Well, the
and I
crazy
think to that
thing
point,
about John and Austin is that their range is crazy. Like, so low key, some people know this. I cast them in Aurora. So like after I played Remake in 2020, I went to John Eric Bentley and I went to Austin Matthews, and I was like, yo, I got this thing I'm doing. Do y'all want to be a part of it? And this character on my wall behind me, Reese, he's in my story. That's who John's playing. Their
Awesome.
range and where they can take their
Mhm.
voices and not just their acting skills are, y'all don't even, I mean, you will know, but I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
can you do this? Can you do that? You know, in our recording sessions, and they dug out performances that I was like, holy shit! Wait till people get
And
a
I
load of what
think
you guys can do. You know, it like you don't even really have to direct them. They're such good actors. They just have an innate understanding of the characters they're playing and where you want them to go and how to get them there. And you can definitely hear that in John's performance of Barrett in Final Fantasy VII. Like, what sold it for me in Remake was after the plate collapses and he's just like, God damn it. Like, he's just sitting there,
Oh
he's
yeah.
firing at the classic scene, you know?
Yeah.
I was playing it the first time through. I was like, okay, how's this going to come off? And I was like, I teared up. I was like, whoa, I felt every bit of that.
Mhm.
I
Felt
think everyone was perfect for their roles, right? You look at, Mallory from Adam M. You've got Vic for Sung, like
Which he nailed it
Yeah,
in
he-
Rebirth.
and
He is great. man.
Rebirth. You get some more of that cold, calculating Sung that we know is Sung, and it's just, and then even William Christopher Stevens is Rude, and even Paul Tinto as Kate Sith, right? We all Kate Sith is one of those love-hate relationships that there is no kind of gray area. It's either love them or hate them. But Paul did an amazing job with it. And like when we talked to him a couple of weeks ago, he was talking about how the writers went to such great lengths to ensure that when they were using Scottish wording and stuff like that, that it was legit, that
Yeah.
it was on par with what someone from Scotland would actually say. And as much as I'm still not quite a fan of the character overall, right? Kind of like you were talking about with Roche, right? Soldier, is that I love Paul's performance as him. Kate Sith is still kind of one of those characters I'm like,
You're not sold on him. And
I'm not
It's
sold on it.
okay.
And
And
I
that's
actually
okay.
Yeah.
it's funny because I've spent almost my entire life hating that character. And I walked out of Rebirth. I can't believe I'm saying this.
Say it. Say it with pride.
I'll say it with my whole chest. I actually really liked Kate Sith in this game. I felt like
Sweet.
Paul did such a good job.
Sir.
And then I got to play as Kate Sith. I got to play the combat. At first, it was kind of like Red 13 for me. Red 13, when I first started in the demo, wasn't a big fan of his combat. Got into the game, started playing more as that character. Absolutely loved Red 13's combat. It's the same with Kate Sith. At first, I was like, this is kind of rough. I don't know if I really like it. And then I started, labbing with the character in the simulator, and I started playing as him. And I like Kate Sith. I'll say it.
Mhm.
I like Kate Sith.
Sir. Yes,
I'm looking
sir.
forward to getting him.
That's awesome. Also, I wanted to piggyback on Ray, what you were saying with the performances. I don't know if you've gotten any of the like what is the passive dialogue when you have your group, like if you're just exploring and you know the party members are just kind of like telling a story or just like just saying dialogue while
It's
while
my
you're
favorite
exploring.
part of the game.
Right,
The
and just
chatter.
exactly, and like when Barrett is telling you like a story and just depending on the story you can just, like you said, John's performance, you just every feeling that he is trying to convey he does, and it's just that's what like really added so much more to the game for me, because like I'm the same. Matt and I are kind of the same. We're completionists. We're always like looking for like enough ingredients to to create and craft
Hell
and then
yeah. Hell
and
yes.
finish the map like 100%. So like yeah man, I just that's what really added it for me too, is just that passive dialogue when you're like exploring.
Yeah, and on the performances, the last kind of thing I want to say is like everybody is great. Like everybody is
Yeah.
great. Even Hojo bringing the creep factor out.
Oh my God. End of chapter.
Tyler Hecklin is good, but Cody Christian was born to play Cloud Strife. Like,
oh man,
born
yeah,
to play that character. Like I'm not saying he's the best performance in the game, but as far as like an actor matching what you think their character should be coming in, like wow.
I would agree with that. And you know what actually sold me on him? Like I liked him already as the voice of Cloud. What really sold me on him was when in Remake you're in Hojo's lab, right? And that scene where you see Genova in the tank and Sephiroth is there and he cuts the bridge down and you hear that just raw yell, that raw, like he's going after Sephiroth and he's going to put everything he has behind this swing of his blade. And that pure rage sound coming out of him sold me on this is Cloud Strife.
And I think Soldier, though, the way you tell things on Twitter, though, is it Genova or is it Aerith?
Dude, so that is actually
you are starting so much shit on Twitter lately. It's great.
Yeah, I know.
It's not her.
It's funny because like there's a theory that's going around now that like Aerith is Genova at certain points in the game or something. And I'm like, then I saw somebody say, does this look like Genova to you? And it's literally a picture of Aerith. And I'm like, does this look like Aerith to you? And I just put Genova's picture up there.
And then he turns around and goes, he pulls a Doctor Strange on everybody on Twitter. He's like, hey,
oh, God.
We look through 14,000 universes. And it's just like, just one.
Oh, God. That's funny.
But anyway, so God, this is every time we have people on and we talk, it's already top of the hour.
Yeah. You know
already.
it, baby.
Oh, dang.
You know it. Like
it has flown by.
we just hang out, just get some chips and soda next time. Damn.
We are gonna throw Ray under the bus a little bit, kind of, sorta, and put the spotlight on him. Baby. So no, put the spotlight on you. So Soldier's already gone through this gauntlet before.
Yeah.
He's fully aware of what this gauntlet is, but one thing that we ask of all of our guests for the first time they're on is when you are able to get together with friends and family for a game night, what is your favorite game to play? Regardless if it's a video game, board game, card game, whatever it is, what is your favorite game to play for game night?
Candyland. Because my 6-year-old son can play and can feasibly beat everybody without letting him win.
Sweet.
Because he knows when you're letting him win, and he gets more pissed than when he actually gets beat. So it's a lose-lose, So it's not enjoyable because he can tell when I'm trying to let him win, and he gets pissed, and then he gets pissed when he loses. So Candyland, he can legit kick my ass. So it's become Candyland. Nice. It used to be Monopoly, but I'm more of a solo gamer guy.
Nice Monopoly.
Like I like to sit down with a nice snack, a nice drink, and just enjoy a great story. So I've never been like a guy that plays video games with other people, except for now my kid's learning how to play Mario and all that stuff. But um, he saw me playing Rebirth one day. He goes, "Daddy, can I play that?" I was like, "You can try. It's a story." He goes, "No, I'm good." And he just walked out the room. But no, yeah, it's usually like a board game for game night. Candyland usually because it's all luck, you know.
Gotcha.
We are
Yeah.
one of our favorites now has become Uno Flip. And my 6-year-old, soon to be 7-year-old, will just rock everybody because he gets the specialty cards and he's like, "Yep, I'm just gonna throw this shit down. I'm gonna screw with everybody's world." So, you know, I want to thank everybody who crashed game night tonight with us, especially first time chatters, New Estates and Bully M Picks Hero.
Yeah, thank you.
For joining. If you enjoyed the content, please drop us a follow here on Twitch. Also, if you want to hear those past episodes with the past voice guests, as well as the shenanigans that Soldier's been a part of over the last couple of years, head on over to crashinggamenight.com. You can find every platform we're carried on up, you know, there, as well as a contributors and guest page where you can find their some background information on our guests, including their social media handles. Ray's got a profile up there now as well, so you'll be able to go on over there. And he'll be tagged to this episode once we get it posted. Ray, God, it's about bloody time we had you on here.
Yeah, man.
We've been talking about it, and it's like nothing ever has synced up timing wise. So, and Soldier, I can't say this enough. It's great having you back in the content thing, you know, the content realm and whatnot, and doing your thing and not worrying about the haters this time around. It's really great seeing you back and whatnot.
It's funny because this is actually the first time me and Ray have worked together as well.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
New beginnings. It's good.
So with that, folks, as I always say, especially what's going on in the world right now, especially for the folks that are in Baltimore right now, they're impacted by the bridge collapse, the Francis Scott Key bridge collapse that happened this morning. As of the last update I saw, they're still trying to find 6 people, you know, that could potentially still be in the water or whatnot. So please, as everybody is dealing with their own personal issues, family issues that could be a part of that, or just in general, just be excellent to each other.
Agreed.
That's right. All my nerds. Once again, gentlemen, thank you so much for hanging out and coming back. You guys are welcome anytime, and please come back again. Once again, we want to spread the same message as we always do. Everyone, let's just try and practice a little bit more patience, a little bit more, spread a little bit more kindness, lend a helping hand here and there. Let's just try and be a little bit more courteous, and let's just try and do and be a little better, and just help out, and everyone be safe out there. J-Rock, take it away.
Yeah, I mean, you guys always say a lot of things that I always like to say, you know, be kind, be helpful.
Be kind, rewind.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. As you guys know, it's we're coming up on April now. We're a third of the way through 2024. You know, like it's quite a feat, and you know, we've had a lot of guests on the last couple of weeks. So you know, we want to thank all of our guests, but you guys, especially Soldier, Ray, always welcome. This couch, anytime you guys want to, let us know. Maybe I'll try to get a new couch. You know, we'll set something.
Dude, you need to go couch shopping.
I do need to go couch shopping.
It's about time.
Called out for having
one of these days
from the Matrix. Like
one of these days, it's gonna be an actual couch in the background, and we're probably not even gonna think about it because we're so used to seeing it.
Yeah, I mean, like one day it's gonna be like when the boys come through, you know, for their yearly trip sometimes out here, you know, we'll sit on an actual couch.
Yeah.
You know, I'm ready. We're ready for that. But as always, you know, like be nice out there. Take care of yourselves out there. It is gonna be Easter this Sunday as we're recording it. So, you know, hopefully all y'all have a good Easter, you know. enjoy yourselves. Remember that Costco is closed on Easter Sunday, so I will not be working. Anyways,
I guess the chickens are waiting for someone.
Oh, yeah.
Slow it down, relax. Anyways, like I would like to, end it out how I normally end it out. My boy Theo Walski, he's not here tonight, so a little sad, a little remiss.
Yeah, miss you, brother.
I hope I feel that Soldier knows the outro, and I kind of want to give it to him because like does
he remember?
The fifth man. He is the fifth.
I know
man.
the ending of it.
He is the fifth man, so we gotta send it out this way.
Ooh,
man, Theo, I miss you, bro. But Alex, Soldier, please send it out like Theo does.
All right, guys. Thank you for watching Crashing Game Night. These guys have been awesome. So TTFN, ta-ta for now.
Yeah, see, that's how you do it. That's how you do it, Jerry.
You're so annoying.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody.
Just because I make it my own.